everyone. Welcome back to the Beyond The Playbook podcast. And we have a very special guest with us today. And we're doing a episode on Germany. And let me proceed to introduce our guest without further ado. So, today's guest is a footballing powerhouse. On the pitch, she was a goal machine. And off it, she's become one of the most exciting minds in coaching today. Inka Grings scored 64 goals in 96 games for Germany, picked up a bronze medal at the Olympics and two European Championships in Germany, where she won the Golden Boot both times, by the way. And yeah, she just casually racked up 327 goals for FCR Duisburg, making her the second highest scorer in Frauen-Bundesliga history. No big deal, right? She's been named Germany's Footballer of the Year not once, not twice, but three times. And now she's bringing that same killer instinct to the sidelines as the head coach of Club YLA, the women's team of Club Brugge. From Dusseldorf to Zurich to Chicago, from scoring screamers to crafting strategies, Inca's football journey is the stuff of legends. Buckle up, this is going to be a fun one. So, Inka, it's an honor to have you here. Uh, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for being there too.
Yeah, this is like one. You are definitely the highest profile guest we've pulled on to this podcast.
Okay, okay,
We can
nice.
definitely say we can definitely say that. And yeah, we just wanted to know. So now you were a player, and now you're a coach. So you have seen many changes in football. So the
Mm.
DFB, the German FA, has rules to protect children and helping with mental health and stopping addiction. So how have these rules changed the feeling and culture within teams and clubs you have worked with?
Mm. Yeah, first let me say that I will really try and do my best in English. So, but I have to learn it a little bit quicker and better. But yeah, of course, I hopefully I'm good prepared for this really nice talk. I was really looking forward for this today. But of course, the rules, especially the rules to protect kids. But I say we have to protect the peoples and not only the kids. It's of course, especially for us as coaches, really, really important. So it's we have to be sensible um, because, yeah, for me, it was most of the time clear when I was coach um, what I expect from my players. Doesn't matter if I play and work with adult persons or with kids. Soccer has a lot of a lot of things to do with emotions. So, and we as coaches and I was as players the same as I was really explosive. I was with so much emotions. I was so happy. I was so crying when we lose a game or when I not score. So in all these times, of course, we need the coaches and of course our teammates too. And what I mean is with emotion is I need a hug. I need a person who listen to me. Who support me. And of course, with all the situations, what's happened in the world, we have to be careful. And yes, and I think especially in sport, not only in soccer, because sport is for me, yeah, you build bridges to our um, to the normal life, and it is important. It is sad to say that we have to make rules to protect persons because it has to be a normal behavior from each other, that we have respect to each other, that we yeah, protect each other. But of course, in sport, it's a lot of bad cases in the past. So that is for me important as coach. I know that from my time as player, and when I start my career as coach, that I have to be always careful. Especially, yes, we know all the Me Too situation. It is important, absolute, and especially for us women that we have to say too. But for me, it's a little bit difficult in sport because in sport you are so close, you work so intensive. And again, what I mean with emotions, and you want emotion. So It's not easy sometimes for coaches too and for players, but I think the respect what you get in soccer too in sport is so important. Yeah, for the rest of your normal life, and for that or from that is it's yeah. I can say only important that we have to do the rules what Dave Bay did in the past. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, like when you talked about emotions, right? Like what I think of strikers for any team, they are the most expressive people in the team. That's what I've generally found out across all teams. So like I
exactly.
can understand you, I can picture you being very, very expressive. So that is definitely one thing. So yes, I what about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've made a lot of important points actually, especially with the mental health side of things and everything, and being able to express yourself. You've also played and coached now in different countries, Switzerland, Germany, of course. Now
Mm,
you're coaching in Belgium. You've also
mm.
played in the US, Germany. How do you think that the sport of football can help people from Germany who live in other countries, so Germans in other countries, how can they connect with each other during big tournaments like the World Cup or the Euros that is coming up?
Yeah, I think for me it's just football again. It's creative contact to other peoples, to other cultures. That's amazing. I think that's normally the reason, of course, in my and in your eyes too, that we love soccer. Um, I think it helps just general to be a part of another, yeah, of another life, because the characters and the mentalists in other countries, and you saw or you say that I was in US in the States, it was so much different to Switzerland, and Switzerland to compare with Germany is again so different that I think it helps me as person, sport. In sport, it's easier to find new contacts, to find new peoples, and yes, what of course helps is that you find quickly new friends. And I think the culture from all other countries. So it's amazing. I was as player. I played. I don't know. I think in India not, but in most of the countries in the world, and it was so interesting to see other countries and the supporters, for example, because that's so amazing how they see soccer, how they live and work. And that was for me as coach really interesting to see when I was last year in the World Champion tournament in New Zealand, how other supporters go or work when the home team lose a game. So we in Germany, it's a such of aggressive and really not nice. But so many other countries, so many other cultures have so much more respect against or have so much respect for the players and what they do. Instead, how in Germany they always look you win or you lose, and this what I mean too is with respect to each other. So that's I think that's so much important for me as person, for my life, for that what I want give other persons back. So that's so interesting. And yeah, that's amazing that you have the chance about soccer to go in other countries, to learn from other countries when you are open for that, and you have to be open when you play soccer, because if not, you play not long in this team. You have to adapt some things, and you learn best case new languages. So yeah, I think soccer or again general sport build so many bridges to the culture, to yeah, to live together. And that's for me so interesting and so important.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I think even taking the recent World Sevens where Bayern Munich won,
Yeah,
and the way they presented their club, the way the players were so connected off the field,
yeah,
and I think that helped to bring together a lot of women's football fans from around the world. So I think
for
that's a great example.
yeah, it is. And yeah, we need role models. So, and I think sport is a good chance. And again, with all my respect, but for us women, it's so important that you go the step and that you are really strong and have self-confidence to stay there and say, hey, we women, we are good too, and we can. And we want not compare with men's, because men's soccer in this case is completely different to women's soccer. So it's not the woman who compare this always. So it's most of the time men's, and most of the time it's more negative because it's the easy way to say, yeah, women's soccer is not so athletic, is not so fast. Yes, because anatomic from women and men, and I mean, we don't need to discuss about this. It is how it is, but we talk about the sport and what person uh, bring bring with them. And for me, it's especially for women. I was a long time that I say that I want to work in men's teams, because for me it's men soccer. It's different. I like this intensity a little bit, maybe the art how you work. And it was always that I get not a shitstorm, but it's always a discussion, woman with men, why? And I say, hey, come on, guys, I will not discuss with you. We talk about soccer. So, and why is it not possible only because I'm a woman? No, that's not fair. And that is what um, that's not what I am, how I think and how I am, and that is not what I want as woman. So we as women want the same chances as men and not more, and that is a little bit what we have to fight too, and that is the soccer gives us the chance too to watch of soccer and not always to compare men and women, because that's yeah, it's it matched not, and that's a little bit our fight every day.
Yeah, you make actually that's actually a very powerful point that you just made.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that point you made, like in general, you need to have mutual respect, right, towards other people. That is like such a very important aspect of whatever it is as basic human beings, right? And like we we're lucky to live in a world where we're right now we're connected. Like you're in a different continent altogether. You're in Europe right now, in Germany right now, and we're in Asia, and that we should be embracing that connectivity and that the connection between different cultures rather than trying
Hmm.
to divide on like very basic lines like gender, for example, and color, something like that.
Hmm.
It's really a beautiful point which you made over there, and like how it is a big fight which women have to go through on a daily basis, and it's not just limited to sport, but sport is one of the vehicles through which it
Yeah.
is seen a lot, I feel. And
Exact.
yeah, like it is such a beautiful point. So, by the way, I just wanted to say your English is quite good. You did you mentioned that you're not confidently
Ah,
English, but you don't have to worry. It is quite good, like
okay,
quite good.
thanks a lot. Okay, okay.
So, I mean, you are a former player. You have coached in many places. You have also played in many places. So, I want to ask you, what is like a city or a particular stadium which was very special for you? Which is like one of the, because it could be because of the fans or it could be because of the local community. Like which particular place gives you that special feeling?
Oh yes, it's a really it's not easy the question, because I had the luck in my career that I played really in a lot of big stadiums. Of course, in the beginning with not so much supporters, and in the end of the career, of course, it was always full house. So for that, it makes every stadium special for sure. Yeah, I think I have maybe two situations. When I think about this, of course, it was the quarterfinal against USA in 1999 in the States. And it was, I don't know the name, honestly, from the stadium, but it was, and this time for over 100,000 supporters against the states, of course. It was at the time from Bill Clinton, and he was there too. So that was so important to see. And we had the time before a little bit to go along the city to take a walk a little bit west, try to rest and not be nervous, but looking forward to get a spirit, a feeling for that what is next to the stadium and not always in the stadium, because most of the time we have only the feeling in the stadium, but we use the time a little bit to go out. And that was really so interesting to see so many young boys and girls. And it was a time for Mia Hamm and the stage. It's an amazing striker, really amazing striker. With all the jerseys, so really proud of of that what being soccer there is, and that was so far away from the German thinking of soccer. Um, for me to feel how proud they are, and they talk not about the person, the qualities, genders, or about soccer and about the person, and that was really fascinated. And of course, the game was amazing. Okay, we lose, but it was unbelievable. And yeah, I think the second time it's a little bit so the step in Germany. We had every year a cup final, and when I started the career in Germany, it was the time that we play in Berlin, where the cup final from the men's is. Um, always the first game in the afternoon, and in the evening the men's played then the cup final there, and it was we played there 10 years. So and then was the first step from the women's soccer that they said, okay, we have to be make a cut because we need our own cup final where only person supporters go to a women's soccer game and not find a mix for men and women. And it was not easy because it was a lot of times really nervous because you don't know how it works. And it is in Cologne. It is since there in Cologne, so over 15 years now in Cologne. And yeah, we had the stadium. It's a supporter from 50,000, and we had first time there 28,000 supporters. They came only for this game, so I think it was a big, big step for women's soccer, and it was nice because they came and watched you, and not maybe they wait over the next final. So yeah, it was a good feeling to have a little bit of respect what you do on the pitch and work really hard, because we never forget that we started our career with normal working from 7:30 until 5 o'clock, and then we had training in the evening. So of course it changed now. I'm happy for that, but that was our start in our career, and it was all possible. But that was, yeah, I think a nice experience in the past.
I think your point states over there. I just want to ask one more question. Like, you played in a time which was semi-professional, right, or amateur, you could say, semi-professional, you could say. Like, how do you, like, from your time when it was semi-professional to now, it's like most of the leagues are fully professional. Like, how do you like? How does it make you feel? Like, how is it like? How what is the underlying feeling which you get when you see this shift from semi-professional to professional?
Yeah, amazing. I'm totally happy. I'm totally happy for all players that they can now work as professional soccer. That was always our dream. So was clear that I love football. I died for soccer, really, and that was only what I want, play soccer. So and it was of course in the beginning not possible. So you have to work. Um, but I think in our generation, in my generation, it helps us to be so strong in the head, really, the mental part, and of course the physical part. We had not the possibilities how now with overload, with performance, with individual training, with pulse heart, and all the testing. That was not in our time in the beginning. Of course, it was interesting to see how we grow up in the national team too. In the national team, we had head coach, assist coach, one physio, one goalkeeper coach, and one person who was a responsibility for the materials and so on. So that was all. So and how you see then from year to year how it grows up, that the staff was then I started by 8 and now by 25, 28%. So that's for me really amazing to see. But for me was so much more important in the beginning that women's soccer is normal in our society, in the neighborhood, that girls play with boys soccer. That was for me in the beginning much more important as of course earn money. So everybody want to earn money, so that's clear, but that was not the topic for us to start soccer. So for us was normal that we play soccer and don't discuss about boys or girls, and that we managed. And how it grows up now, and the big teams, especially in Germany, or of course in the Super League in England or in Spain. That's amazing. I'm really happy for that because it was a long way. We are not finished because in Germany we have again some problems here, especially with the respect for each other. But think that we are on a really good way, especially in the world. So we have so many big teams. We have in the last tournaments, means World Champion tournament, European tournament, so many supporters. It's amazing. So you see that women's soccer is normal and it grows up for a good business. So and that's yeah, that's fine. And I was a part of them, and that feels good. Yes,
Yeah, the I think at your time, as you mentioned, the priority was to be able to play the sport, and
yeah,
you had to fight for that only. That was the most basic thing that you had to fight for, and I think that gave the future generation a good base to start
absolutely,
building on and asking for more things that they deserve to receive in terms of respect and facilities. So I think, yeah,
absolutely.
your generation of players made it possible for the current generation of players to be where they are. I think
Exact,
that's,
exact, exact.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's when you follow a little bit the young players, and in my time in Switzerland, we had really a lot of young players. What I say, Paul, they have so much potential, so really interesting for more. And you see what soccer can change a person with so much self-confidence, especially we women. We are more, boys, we are more stronger, um, more louder normally, and women or girls go most of the time a step back and say, no, it's not my part. It's all good how it is. And women and boys go always in. So and soccer helps so much that you be a little bit stronger in your person, in your life, and it helps, yeah, to manage sometimes our not easy situations. And that's so interesting to see. Really, I have so many players. They I know how they are today. When I know when they was 5 years younger, that's so interesting to see, and that's amazing. And that is, yeah, what I mean too with this big bridges. It's not only for culture. It's for me just more for the person, for the personality. So, and that's so amazing. Yes.
Yeah. And Ashish, you have something to say? I think
No,
you.
like I think what because like it's such a beautiful point. Like how in life also, like it's your past generations, they pass on to the future generations. Like that passing on the torch, which she explained so well over there. Like how her generation, how like, they were the trailblazers in within sport, you could say definitely. And like now, it is something which, if you want to take an example from the current German team, for example, Julia Quinn and Jules Brand, they will pass it on to the youngsters in the current setup, and how we build up and how we pass on the knowledge and how we pass on that experience is like beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he gave me a good opportunity to talk about the next question. He mentioned Eula Brand, and she, as we all know, she's just recently signed for Lyon, and I think she's one of the most exciting youngsters to have come out from Germany in the recent past. There are so many who, and the the under 17 German women's team, I think, has had a lot of success in the European championships quite like the senior team actually. So my next question was, as I just mentioned, Germany is known for its youth football development. There are a lot of youngsters that come out of Germany and start playing for a lot of professional clubs at a very young age, and they succeed as well. So, what new initiatives or programs in youth academies do you think are the best for the future of women's football?
Yeah, the best. I think it's important, and I grew up with boys. So in my time, so it was not the possibility to train and play with girls in my age. So it was for me normal that I play with boys. So of course it has to be possibility that your quality is good enough, or the boys and the girls. It makes sense when the level is the same that they train and play together. So that is what I totally prefer because it is how it is. Boys are different to girls, and they are a little bit much more in soccer and. Yeah, live this sport a little bit more than girls, not all, of course, but so in general. Um, and when you have good girls, they are tough enough, they have fun, they can a little bit play, of course. So then I prefer always, and that is what we did in German and in Switzerland and in Belgium, for example, too, that the girls play and train with boys, for example, how long it's possible. And of course, you have to check it with the age. And of course, but that's for me a little bit the most important part. Or you have mixed teams so that you play girls and boys together and play against boys and girls. We have some, for example, in Switzerland, they do it between under 14, under 15, and sometimes under 16 that girls play with boys in a performance league. So not in the lower league, so really in a good league with good trainings and they're developing, and that's the important part. Um, and they play and train the first half year with the boys and play against boys, and the second half they play only against girls because then it's a different by boys, especially 1.5 years they grow up. So you can, it's not possible to play them to against each other, but that makes so much sense. And for me, it's so interesting and so important because for the boys too, is it normal that girls play with them soccer? So, and I think for the future, the thinking boys and girls and all the fights, you can lose it when the boys and girls grow up in a normal way together. So that's, I think, the first important step, what we do in German really good. And the second is a little bit, I'm a little bit go back because that we do in the last time not so good is the focus of developing. It's not of success, it's not of results, it's really of developing, especially by young girls. And you have the same problem with boys when they are not tall enough, when they are not direct strong enough. In a lot of good teams, you have no chance because they watch only of performance and again of result. And you have so many players, girls and boys, they need sometimes longer than other boys and girls. We don't need to talk about the top talents because that you see and they go the way. So they don't need really developing because they're so straight and so focused that it's clear that they are the next professional players. But you have so many really good players. They get no chances because they are small. They are not strong enough in the body, maybe too slow, whatever. So that is the biggest problem. What Spain did really well because they have not only one team, not only two teams. They have most of the time three teams, and then they split the groups because it makes totally sense, especially by boys. You have so different in one age that you cannot compare, and they split it in two groups. So maybe the best players or the tallest players, and then the middle, and then maybe the smallest players, or in the head, they need a little bit longer. Um, and then you have more time to make mistakes, more time to learn, because you need the experience in training and in games. So, because I've coached too, who said, for me, especially young players with, of course, talent, and she deserved and she works for the game time. So they need the experience on the pitch and not on the PlayStation, because you have to feel the mistakes. And that's okay. And this time, that is the biggest problem in developing. Get not so many players, and that's really really sad, because you lose so many really good and interesting players, because it's always yeah, let me say, hectic with results, and that's not good working.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, what you said, you you should not leave behind people, development or growth. Also, it differs among different people, right? Like certain people
Yeah,
are late bloomers, and they may not have the growth spurt as easily as certain other people. So I think you made a really cool point of how you need to have priority. You have to give equal
yeah,
priority to everyone, because you cannot predict also what can happen in the future, because
exact.
uh, yeah, so pretty good point. Sai?
Yeah, no, I think I want to focus on the point where you mentioned that boys and girls playing together at the youth level also helps to show men and show boys that it is normal that girls can
Boy,
play, they are playing sports, that they are playing football. I think
exact,
that's a huge result of I mean, that's a huge step in changing the mindset in society and
absolute,
starting it from that age.
absolute.
Yeah, so I mean, Germany is looking to host the 2029 Women's Euros, the very next edition. So, what we wanted to ask is, you're a former player and of course a coach, and we've mentioned that many times. Then, how important would it be for Germany to host this tournament, especially to grow women's football in general? And what do you hope it changes?
Yeah, the first, let me say, I can't say that I'm really proud of this, but humble too. But it is amazing to play in your own country tournament. So I had one time the chance in 2011, and we played in Germany the World Champion tournament. It is really fantastic. The attention, especially the attention of women's soccer, attention, yes, of the individual person, is the first, of course, so much important part. But again, for me, it's really in so many things in society to see just general woman and man, and then that woman is there, then a little bit more in the middle. It's a focus of this. It helps. It helps. Best case that the presence from women's soccer, that we find more supporters, that we have more possibilities, yes, to bring some players from above to Germany back, and not now from Germany to other countries, because that's of course a problem too. It's of the one side, it's amazing that you have, yeah, target to play for Olympique Lyon, for Arsenal, for Barcelona. So in my time, it was most of the time that the players want to play in Germany, because the league was so good and so organized, and that's amazing too. It opened so many doors in all directions. But of course, it's for Germany, for women's soccer. I think it's time. German can organize, of course, tournaments. We have really great instruction with nice stadiums for sure. We have, I think we are a little bit in the middle of Europe. So for me, of course, it's always it's amazing to be to yeah, to organize the home tournament. But again, to see other cultures, to see other supporters, how they live, how they celebrate. The cities are full with really lucky persons who enjoy the time, uh, drink Kölsch or another beer, what they never drink before, to talk, yeah, to figure out a little bit what is uh, what is in Netherlands, what is in other countries important. They talk a little bit more at the moment. It's a part two, but really interesting about politic. So you can discuss a little bit. Yeah, that is why we love sport, and I'm really curious. I'm not sure if we have the chance because Germany has a lot of tournaments the last years. But of course, for women's soccer, I think it helps because German soccer at the moment, especially of international level, is not so successful. And of course, you need sometimes those events too, yeah, to push the clubs, to push the sponsor to do more and not to say it's okay how it is at the moment, everything fine. But it is not fine because, yes, success, you need success to grow up, to get more money for infrastructure, for developing, to give really young players the chance to, yeah, to can dream your life. And so for that, it will be great that we can maybe 2029 get the tournament. It helps every country. So I see that today in Switzerland. So I was a part of them. It is amazing how the supporters, how the society opened the doors for women's soccer to understand that they have to do more in the small clubs with more facilities for women because you have so many clubs they have not really facilities for women, so that's the reason that they have no girls or women team, so that's not really good. But after Switzerland get the information that they are the next European tournament is in Switzerland, yeah, they have to do this. So and that's good too. The question is, of course, how it is after the tournament, but the first step is they have to do more for women and girls soccer. And then, of course, it's, of course, too, from the women and girls soccer and from all the responsibilities from management, from the club, um, that they can hold it. But the first way is that they have to do, and that was so important.
Yeah, you're right. I think it comes down to having to do the basics right in
Yeah,
order to progress. Just getting the hosting rights or just hosting a tournament, and whether or not the team is successful enough doesn't matter. I
exact.
think you from the there has to be a push from behind
Absolute.
to grow
Yeah,
the game along with hosting. That's actually
exact.
pretty important.
Exact. Exact.
Yeah, and you can definitely not underestimate the emotion also when you're playing in your own home country. The home crowd just making that giving acting as a 12th man, like how we keep on saying, like as you can see in the previous two tournaments, the Lionesses won in England and Netherlands did win their home tournament, the Euro. So it is a very very uh, important factor, I feel, like
Yeah,
when you are hosting such tournaments, I feel.
exact.
Yeah. Now I think not just the Netherlands and England, even the World Cup that you coached in Australia, the atmosphere that the Australians created, it's lasted because now every time the Australian team goes back and plays a home game, it could be a friendly, but the stadium is packed.
Mm,
So I think they've managed to create that growth. They've managed to maintain it and see that they sustain it, and there's more progression in that growth for the Matildas, for the Australian team.
yeah.
Speaking about the World Cup, we all know that FIFA recently announced that from the 2031 edition, there will be 48 teams, even in the women's tournament. Um, So obviously the question is, from a women's football perspective, what do you think this would mean for the women's game? And you're also coaching in Belgium, and we know that the Belgian national team has not yet qualified for a World Cup, and they've featured in the Euros, but not yet in a World Cup. So for nations that
Hmm.
still have to qualify for a World Cup, what do you think it
Yeah.
means for them?
I think for the small countries, they of course have not so many chances. How, of course, bigger countries. This is interesting for sure. For that, we have to be honest because when you are really a small country, a small team, it's not easy. It's not easy to, yeah, you need so much luck that you get the qualification for a world champion tournament. From this part, I can a little bit understand honestly because it's a world champion tournament, so it's not a European, so it's really the whole of world. So, and that means that best case, of course, that a lot of countries and small countries get maybe a better chance. So again, from this part, I can totally understand this a little bit and maybe make sense to think about or to do this. Um, because for them maybe is this highlight in their life, maybe it changed so many things then in their own country, what I totally believe, because again then we give young girls maybe in not so easy countries with not so easy situations and possibilities for them, maybe a hope and target. um, that is yeah, what we have to think about too, totally. Um, of course, when I think a little bit of performance and the time management, um, and then especially in women's soccer, it's dangerous for me a little bit. It sounds a little bit for too much, um, because now you have the problems in women's soccer that we have so many games, and that is a little bit what I'm a little bit scared about this because I have the feeling that Infantino in this time want this one-to-one compare with men's, and that is what we not can do. So for men, that's the same. It's for me a no-go because they have so many games, and then their home clubs, especially the top teams with the international games, with the Champions League, with European, and then the small World Champion tournament in Qatar and USA. Uh, there's so many games, so that's really not easy to handle. And then you want to compare this with women. I think it's not good. It's not the right moment for this. Again, the first part for young or for small countries, um, I can totally understand because it's not easy. I was with FC Zurich in the qualification for the Champions League, and we was really a small team. We had a budget from 1 million, and we played against Olympic Lyon. They have 35 million, for example. So it's not possible. So you need so much luck that you have a chance to make a next step. So it's not working. And the same with a lot of a lot of small countries. Yes, from this, I can a little bit understand, honestly. But again, the performance and the management, I think it's not easy at the moment to do this. So from that, my opinion is split a little bit. So I have not a clear answer for that because for me, it's important that you think in all directions and not only for sport and not only for the top. For me, it's then a world champion tournament. It's another part of society. So and for that we need best case all. But I don't know is it possible at the moment, honestly.
Yeah, like definitely like the point. Like I think it's like a double-edged sword to be honest. Like having a 48 team World Cup
Mm,
because you know, I mean, you are giving that exposure to the smaller teams, but
yeah.
at the cost of what? you are like and in women's sport as well, injuries are a lot more common as well. If you're increasing the number of games which they have to play, you're increasing the
Yeah.
chance of injury. And the ACL is a very nasty injury to get, especially in women's sports. So like, and to
Hmm.
recover from that is a big problem. So I don't think FIFA is thinking about the rights of the players in this case, and I think
Hmm.
it's a very important point which you stated
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, I you have anything to add?
Yeah, and I was just thinking about how initially there were plans for a Club World Cup for women
Hmm.
as well, but then they decided to push it, and
That's
then then again a few weeks of months later they said we're increasing the World Cup to more
hmm.
teams. So I think there's a lot of I don't get what the pattern of thinking is in these two decisions, but it's almost like the problem is not being addressed. They're just going around the problem, and they're
That's
not
true.
focusing on the issue.
Exact. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just that's yeah good, and I think it's normal that you have maybe that you say a lot of ideas. So it's good for discussion, but do it intern and not say it one time so and next time so. So that is all a little bit what I'm not a fan from because again these are all points. Maybe some stupid thinking, some stupid opinions, but you can discuss all. So and then you find a good way together. But it's always difficult when you hear this, and then exact the other way. So it makes me a little bit nervous because it's yeah, I have no idea because then I don't know what I have to think about it, and I don't know what is true, what is possible, and yeah, I mean it is FIFA and Infantino, no? So it's every day a surprise. So they have it not only with Trump, they have it now with Infantino the same. It's not boring soccer.
Yeah, that's definitely a very a very cool point you raised there. So okay, I think sadly we need to end this discussion, and I think so. I think we want to end with this last question to you. What are your predictions for Germany at the Women's Euros? Like, how do you think they will play? They are in the group of death also, so there is that as well.
I think
Uh,
before you answer, I think when he mentioned group of death, Germany is one of the reasons the group is the group of death. Um, so yeah, from that perspective, what do you? Because there's a lot of pressure on Germany to perform well. Also, losing the final in 22, and then the very bad run they had in the World Cup. Also, so what do you think?
yeah. I'm really curious. Of course, I cross all my fingers for sure, but it's not an easy group. And of course, when you are German, you have always pressure. So that's normal. That's okay. We do our pressure ourselves too. So yeah, that's normal for us. But it's really good question. I have no idea. We played this year international in the Champions League with Bayern Munich and VfB Wolfsburg, not good. So really clear. We lose the games against Barcelona and Olympique Lyon. So really clear. So that's for me what I say. That's too heavy. Um, and the league is clear dominate at the moment from Bayern Munich. You have, of course, some good, interesting games between Bayern Munich, Wolfsburg, and Frankfurt. Sometimes was interesting too, where you say you have a little bit challenge, but not often. And that is not good and not easy. But when I say this, I know that Olympic Lyon since years have really not concurrence and challenge in their own league. Barcelona the same. Chelsea woman the last 8 years always a champion. So it's sometimes in different leagues the same situation. But yeah, I'm really curious. I hope, of course, because it's important for women's soccer in Germany. You have to play a good tournament in Switzerland. You have. If not, is the next year again big fights and big discussions. What we have every year. That is what I mean. When you have success, so it's so much easier, of course. And we have to work with this. And the players know. Yeah, they have to show um, that they are professional players. They was not so happy with the farmer coach, so they have now a new coach. So no excuses. Give answers on the pitch. So, and I hope, of course, that we come good in. Again, not a nice and not an easy group. And yeah, I'm really curious. I have not really a big favorite, honestly. Sweden is for me the last years again really good. Um, Play stable soccer, really good. Spain, of course, always. England, French, yeah, it's always the same a little bit, but it is so much possible. So I hope it is important just general. But honestly, I'm so looking forward because it will be a great tournament. Switzerland is a nice country. It's small, so it's really easy for the supporters to travel from one to the other stadium. So it's really nice. It's an expensive country, but a nice country. Yeah, and I'm looking forward for the games, honestly. So, and for that, I love soccer in this time, and of course, cross the fingers for Germany.
Like one last question, you were also a former Switzerland national coach. What do you think about their hopes as well? Like just a small brief thing about it.
From the farmer coach.
Yeah, you did coach Switzerland, right? So how do you
Yeah.
think they will do in the Euros? Like they are hosting it as well. So what is your
Well,
perspective?
I'm really curious. A lot of players, what I bring in the World Champion Tournament, young players. So they play not so often by the new coach. Um, yeah. So Switzerland is not an easy country, especially not with a median. They are more negative than positive, or a little bit more neutral because Switzerland is a small country. You cannot expect that they are now European champion tournament, so that's not working. But they think often so, and so that was not easy to. To understand how they think because when you are German or England, so then you expect that they talk about the title, but not Switzerland. So you have to enjoy it a little bit more and be proud to be a part of a beautiful country and of course to be a part of the home team. From that, it's a big pressure too. Yeah, and of course, I have a lot of contact to some players. Um, they're curious too, but yeah, I will. I let me really surprise because they have so many good Sydney Sharpness from FC Barcelona, really amazing player. I had her in train with her in Zurich. So I hope that so young players get the chance to play the home tournament. I'm curious how boldly the coach is because you have to be boldly to let young players play because the older players bring not at the moment the performance and the team, so that's not easy then to handle. And yeah, I'm curious how they come in the tournament. Of course, as a home team, you wish always big luck and cross the fingers because you know the supporters are more on fire for sure when the home team are successful. So, and for the country, yeah, I wish because it's really nice country.
Yeah, I actually I was thinking about Sydney Live when you
Yeah,
and you mentioned her. I think and her, if she does play and if she gets to play in the midfield against Leah Valti, I think that will be one
yeah.
heck of a duo to watch out for in the matches.
You have so many really. You have the Smilla Valotto. She played in Sweden, and she play really always. So that's important too. It's not only that you're on the squad, how really a lot of players from Switzerland. So that is always. It was my problem too. I have so many players that played in above in other countries, but not really playing. So and you missed the competition game. So and you can't forget it that you say only the trainings help you. No, you need the games, you need the 90 minutes and more matches to be ready for a tournament. And that was always the biggest problem. But Sydney, first year in Barcelona, normally it was a plan for her to play with the second team. and train only with the first team, but you see she's always in the squad, play a lot of times. That's amazing for her. You have Serena Pugel, she is now in West Ham, young player, really smart player. You have Julia Stierli, she plays in Freiburg now, so all young players. They was with me in Zurich, and then to the World Champion tournament. So they play all not more in Switzerland, and that's amazing to see the step. They have targets now to to try a new country because Switzerland is again it's beautiful. They have a lot of money, so they have safety. So and to go out from this it needs a lot of mental strength, and they found it now, and that's helps. Uh, and that is really nice to see. And yeah, I'm really curious how she play because she has really top young players, but they play not so often in the last game. So I think that she maybe will more work with experienced players. So, but yeah, we will see.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think so. Whenever a major tournament comes, I'm usually more in favor of the host.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think I will be
that's
following
true.
Switzerland a lot more
Yeah.
for the
It
Euros.
is. It is, of course. It's a small country too, so it will be great. Of course, always. Not always a top favorite, of course. I mean, we talk about soccer and the quality are the quality, but me too a little bit. Always to the small countries, cross a little bit more the fingers. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's always you feel there's an extra sense of happiness when the underdog wins, right?
Exact. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so this was an amazing discussion with you, Inka. I think we are still, Ashish and I are still a little dazed that we are able to talk to you and that we got this opportunity. So thank you so much for your time. I know you're very
Not for
busy.
that, really. All good. Was a pleasure for me. Thank you. Really, was really nice. Yeah.
Thank, thank you. It means a lot that you're saying this. And I, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for your time. And
Yeah, no,
we wish you the best.
you're welcome. You too,
Yeah,
and
very,
enjoy.
very
Okay.
great experience. Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you. I
Thank you
will. I
so
will.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.